morning. Good morning, Dora. Here we are, Thursday. The week is disappearing. And it's still very unseasonably cold, I would say. It's not cold. It's in the 60s. Feels cold. But yeah, unusually so. Good morning, Barbara. And it might actually rain one of these days. I don't know. I was out working in my garden yesterday, and everything's super dry. So yeah, I think we could use a bit of rain. I put a tarp over my shed because I'm anticipating not doing a whole lot for the next few days. We'll see. The weather report has tricked me before, so it wouldn't be the first time. Right, well, we'll take a few minutes and then we'll get started. So you can just sit and breathe if you want. Just getting kind of your head in the right place for practice. It's one reason I like morning practice so much is you haven't really, a lot of stuff hasn't generally happened. So it seems easier to kind of get focused than maybe later in the day when a lot of stuff is kind of piled up. I don't really have anything to talk about today. So we'll just sit here. Okay, look, it's 5 past. Let's start talking about, so let's see. We're on the 6th limb, right? Yes. Dharana is the 6th limb. So when we get into the upper limbs, a lot of it kind of blends together. So some of it sort of moves towards the other, and there's some movement there. So I would say Dharana, and then the next one is Dhyana, which is, so Dharana is it's a concentration. It's a form of it is really concentration, right? But it's focusing the mind. And then the next step after that is dhyana, which is meditation, right? Which is where we are stilling, kind of trying to still the mind. And then samadhi, which is that state of union with the divine. So those things kind of flow into one another. And you can slip sort of back and forth between those stages. So they all kind of work together. Good morning, Carrie. So anyway, okay, so just to kind of set that up, today we're talking about Dharana, which is one of the next stage after Pratyahara. So Pratyahara, we are kind of withdrawing our senses from the outer world. So I guess with Pratyahara, we're concerned with our kind of relationship with the outer world. Dharana, we are looking inward. So it's working on what's going on in the mind. Um, and we are trying to concentrate and focus the mind. Um, One of the best sort of techniques for that is to use that visualization of some sort, or mantra, which we've talked about before. This idea that you have a little phrase or a few words, or even just one word that you sort of hold in your mind. And you may repeat it, you may kind of just focus on it. You could also visualize an, an image um, of something that is meaningful to you. A lot of times, people use images of a deity, um, or some other form of way to concentrate. There's a practice where you look at a candle flame, and the candle flame is sort of your focus point, working on dharana. So dharana, again, it's not. Um, I think what's interesting about the limbs is some of them seem very complete in and of themselves, like asana, right? That's a thing. We're doing the asana. Um, or the yamas and the niyamas. That's a practice. That can be a whole practice in and of itself. But when you look at them in um, context, you see them as a progression. Um, and especially near the end, um, Dharana is going to help you. Right? If you can work on focusing your mind, that's a great help for all sorts of things. Um, but it is specifically designed to move you to the next place. Um, so it isn't necessarily a goal in and of itself. It's part of the larger goal, and the process. But it's an important part, and it's one that we need to kind of work on. And we can do that with sort of mantra. And again, it's a subtle thing. So if you are moving into meditation, right, which is dhyana, dharana comes first. So that's the stage where we are moving from where we are to the state where meditation can kind of happen. Um, and the best way, to work on this is to just work on it. See what works for you. See what resonates. Maybe it's mantra. Maybe it's visualization. Maybe it's something else altogether. I don't know. There are lots of different techniques. If you're interested, you can look this stuff up online. I could give you some links. But again, you can read a lot about it, but until you really do it, try it, you're not going to really, uh, you're not going to really make progress, right? Um, the knowledge of it is not the same as the experience of it, and that's true with everything in yoga. Um, and it's a process, right? So you're not going to all of a sudden be like, well, maybe it will. I don't know. There are certainly cases where people just, they sit down and they're there. But for most of us, it's a process, and it can get very frustrating, right? Some days it's just not going to work. Some days you're going to be like, okay, I got my pratyahara here and working on Dharana, and you're like, nah, it's not going to happen. My mind is over here. There's something stuck in there. So that's okay. So maybe you don't do it that day. Try it later in the day. Try it the next day. Um, there's no expiration date on these practices. You can do them whenever you want. Um, and right, we understand this, that getting frustrated, getting annoyed, or starting to worry about your progress. Am I doing this? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Um, these are all very counterproductive. Um, Yoga gives you some basic guidelines, but you have to figure out how they work for you. Um, how long they may take doesn't matter, right? You can work away at it if you're interested. If you aren't interested right now, you can skip it. um, it's not a requirement for anything. You can work on any one of these limbs. And I talked about how you can build a tree house in whatever limb you're happy with and just stay there for a while. Ultimately, right, the design of yoga is to get us to that place of samadhi. But not all of us are going to get there. I mean, that's the fact. Um, not all of us are wanting to get there, or not right now anyway. It may not be a real focus, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that all the other steps are unimportant. It's we go to where we want to go, and no matter, just like our practice, wherever you are, you're getting benefit. It's not an all or nothing type of situation. It's you just work for where you are and be content with that until you aren't anymore, and then maybe you want to move on to the next thing. So Dharana, it's kind of a hard um, it's kind of a hard thing to define because it is kind of a transition state. But it's it's like a step on the ladder, right? And that step is best gotten to with mantra, visualization, trying to keep the mind as focused as we can, not veering off one way or another. And it's like riding a bike, right? So when you first start riding a bike, usually most of us are super frustrated. It looks so easy, right? It looks so easy. People doing it all the time. But you can't figure out, what are you supposed to do? How are you going to stay up? You got to pedal, and how, it just doesn't even make sense until you try it. And then when you try it, it takes a few times. You may fall down. Be careful. You're not going to hurt yourself with meditation. That's a good thing. But and then once you get the hang of it, you understand what your body needs to do to keep you up, to keep you rolling. You never forget, right? You can get on a bike. You haven't been on a bike for 20 years, and you still kind of remember how to do it. You may not be great, but you're probably not going to fall right down. Same thing with that. Once you've figured out where you have to go to make that concentration happen, you can slip right back into it. It may not be great, but you're going to get it. So again, right? We talk about this. The hard work is never wasted. So we work on it now, and then we can always come back to it. So that's good. And hi, Key. I'm sorry, I don't always see because I don't always pay attention to the live chat. I do try to, but if I miss you, know that I always look at the end. So I'm greeting you, even if I've logged off. I will greet you in spirit. Okay, so some asana now. Sitting up tall. Take a few breaths. One more, and then chin down toward the chest. Just let the head hang down. Shoulders relaxed. Lift the head. Keep lifting the chin. Head back to center. Take a breath. And then we're moving the head over to the right. Try to keep the shoulders relaxed so you're not lifting up. And then we're going to move over to the left with the head. Back to center. Lean forward a little. And then moving around. One way. And then reversing. Back up to your seat. So we're going to do kind of a seated cat-cow here, just for something different. This is a great thing. You could do this at your desk if you are just feeling kind of tight in the spine. So we're going to sit up, take a deep breath, in and out. Then your next inhale, we're going to pull the shoulders back and lean forward with the body. That's your inhale. Exhale, we're pulling the body back. So same thing, inhale, we're bringing the body forward. Exhale, moving the body back in the same way that we do cat-cow. Finish up the set you're on, and then we're back to your seat. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And then forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind, sit up tall, twist. Coming to center and twisting again. And back to center. Tabletop. Inhale, we're going to lift that right arm high. And then on the exhale, we're bringing it under. Resting on the shoulder and upper arm, or if you can't get that far down, you might be on the upper arm. Wherever you are with this is fine. Just breathe. Come on back up. Lift the right arm again. Set it down. Left arm lifts high. And we're resting down on that left shoulder or upper arm. Breathe. Come on back up. Left arm lifts high. Then back down to the mat, sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. And breathe. Step the feet up. And we're here in a fold. Take a few breaths. You could hang the arms down, take opposite elbows, whatever works for you. And then we're rising slowly. Standing tall, deep breath in and out. Inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Set your knee down, arms overhead. One more breath. Then hands to the mat, stepping back. We're moving back to downward dog. Inhale, come on forward to high plank. Let's hold here for a breath. And then lower down. Inhale, lift head and chest. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Coming back up, tabletop to downward dog. One more breath. Then we're going to step the right foot up. Drop the knee on the left, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, lifting to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Moving back. Downward dog. Inhale to high plank. Hold here. And lower down. Inhale, lifting up, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Once more, inhale, lifting up. And back down. Tabletop to downward dog. One more breath. Then left foot steps up. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting on the inhale. We're back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we're going to step back with the left foot. Press down. And lift the arms high. Warrior one. Let's bring the arms behind. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulders back. And then we're leaning forward. Hands can stay at the waist, or you could lift them. Your choice. Coming back up. Arms overhead. And move to warrior two. Shoulders relaxed. Steady gaze. Flip the palm, lift it high. One more breath here. And then we're going to bring that right forearm down by the leg here. Pull left shoulder back, left arm lifts. Your right arm can stay here, or you could bring it down. Back up. Warrior two, and then hands by your side. Straighten the knee, turn the foot. So we're facing side of the mat. Take a breath. Hands at the waist. Relax the shoulders. And then lean forward here. So just letting gravity kind of help you along here. Bring hands to wherever you want. And breathe. Hands back to the waist. Use that strength in the legs to help lift you up. Take a breath here. And then we're going to turn to face the front. Right leg is out, left leg behind. Interlace the fingers again. Squeeze the shoulders back. Deep breath. Fold forward. Again, you can have the hands behind you. If you want to lift them up, you can. But you got to have, some tightness in the shoulder, right? You've got to keep the shoulders engaged if you're going to lift. And then rising up, back foot, steps to the front, arms overhead, back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift your arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Press down here with both feet and rise up. Warrior one. Hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Squeeze back with the shoulders, take a breath, and then fold forward. Coming back up. Arms back overhead. And move to warrior two. Left arm extends out, right arm behind. Relax the shoulders. Inhale, we're going to flip the left hand, lift it up high, right arm by your side. And then left arm, we'll set it here on the leg, pulling right shoulder back, right arm lifts. You might be here, or you could bring the hand down. Rising back up. And then hands by your side. Straighten the knee, turn your foot. So we're facing side of the mat again. Deep breath here. And then lean forward. Another one, you can just bring hands down to the mat or to the ankles or the feet. whatever you want. And then we're going to bring the right hand to center. You might have it on a block here. That would be fine. Left hand on the hip. Take a deep breath, and then we're twisting to the left. Maybe lift the arm if you want. Back to center. Switch hands. Inhale and then exhale. Twisting to the right. Everything back to center. Hands back to the waist. Use that leg strength, lifting up. Take a breath. And then walk your feet in. Shoulder width here for a squat. Hands together, take a breath, and then bend the knees. We're lowering down. Nice and upright with the body. As much as possible, breathe. If you're just halfway here, that's fine. Just keep building that leg strength. And breathe. Come on back up. Release the hands. We're turning to face the front of the mat again. This time left leg is out, right leg behind. Interlace the fingers. Draw the palms together. Take a breath. And fold. And rising back up. Back foot steps to the front. Arms overhead. Back to mountain. Take a breath. And let's work on tree. So standing on the left, we're going to bring that right foot in. Kickstand at the ankle. Further up, calf. Further up the leg. Whatever you want to do. Breathe. If you feel steady, maybe extending the arms. Then everything back down. Let's switch sides. So standing on the right, wherever you feel steady today. Keeping hands to center or maybe extending. And if your tree is moving in the wind, that's fine. Come on back down, bicycle legs out. And then we're just going to come down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Take a deep breath and fold forward. So we almost always do this pose. This pose is called Supta Baddha Konasana, which is seated bound ankle pose. So I guess it looks like your ankles are tied together. I just think it's a very good pose. Most of us do have issues with our hips, right? Things are tight in the hips. And this is just about as perfect an exercise for that as you can find, right? It's not very strenuous. It may be very difficult, right? We may be up here, it may feel like we don't have a lot of room, but that's okay. Sitting like this, even up like this, you are working, right? Gravity is pulling on those knees, working on opening up through that hip flexor. So this is a good pose for people that feel like they're not, they're not making any progress, right? You are. It's just very small. And sometimes, we are very anxious, to measure things. We want to measure things by leaps and bounds, but maybe just measure things by fractions of inches, if at all. Maybe measure things by how you feel. That might be best of all. So if you do find that you can't go down as far as, you would like to, or very far at all in this pose, sit on the floor more if you can. Get yourself a meditation cushion and sit on the floor whenever you can. That is one of the problems, right, with hip flexibility. If we don't sit on the floor, we're sitting in a chair, we are putting the hip flexors in a position where they are just going to lock up and stay like that, right? So we've talked about this before, how the body is, the body is super efficient. If you aren't using certain parts of it, if you aren't using a certain range of motion, why is the body going to keep that up? It's going to put its energy somewhere else. So if you want to keep you have to use it or lose it, as they say, right? If you have things that you want to kind of rehabilitate, get yourself back to how things used to be, you might have to sit on the floor for a while, stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Get off of that chair on the floor. Your dog, if you have animals, they'll love it. They'll come and sit with you. They'll never leave you alone. So extend the legs, take a deep breath, fold forward. Come on back up. We're going to bend the right knee and then bring that knee out to the side. The right foot right up next to the thigh. Or if you want to, you can bring it on top. Take a deep breath. And then we're going to fold forward, reaching down for the foot. So if you do have the leg on top, this kind of forces the hamstring, the knee is flatter, the hamstring is more stretched. So you may find you can't fold as far forward. So that's normal. Don't try to force it or try to go further. That's just how it's going to be. And then back up. Let's switch. So whatever you did on the one side, we'll do on the same on the other side. So either foot by the thigh or foot on top of the thigh. Deep breath and folding forward. Back up, both legs out in front, one more fold. Take a deep breath and then fold forward. Make your way back up. Bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Make sure you've got some room. And then we're lowering back or rocking back. Coming to rest on the mat. Take a few breaths just to get comfortable. And then we're going to hug the right knee into the chest. Extend the left. And then lowering the right knee out to the side. Breathe. Bring the knee back to center. And then we're going to draw it across the body. So we're rolling up on the left hip. Coming back to center. Switch your legs. So left leg is hugged in, right leg is long. Breathe. Lowering that left leg out to the side. And then we're bringing it across, rolling up on the right hip. Then everything back to center. Extend both legs long. Take a few breaths. Bend your knees, soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to walk the heels back close to the body. Hands are by your side. Feet about hip width apart. Take a couple of breaths, and then we're going to press down, hands and feet, start lifting up the hips. Lowering down again. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Maybe bring the arms up over the head if you feel like it. Bring the knees back together. We're going to hug them into the chest. Rock side to side. Extend the legs straight up. And then when you're ready, lowering down. And relax on the mat. Taking slow breaths, feeling the body supported on the mat. Find that focus. So see if you can find the thing or a thing that helps you with your dharana, right? So maybe it's a word or a phrase or visualizing an image that brings you peace and calm. And as we keep our mind directed toward that single thought, single image, single word, or phrase. Everything else falls away. We concentrate on that thing. And it isn't a hard type of concentration. We aren't struggling. We aren't furrowing our brow, trying to figure something out. We are just observing, absorbing, becoming one with that thing that has our attention. For these few moments, that's all we are paying attention to. And if the mind wanders, if other thoughts creep in, just direct your focus back to whatever it is that you're concentrating on. And so moving fingers and toes, hands and feet, getting yourself back up to a seat, and then bringing your hands together, deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time today to share yoga, and I hope you have a really good Thursday. Namaste. Thank you for coming out of your I don't know. You really haven't come out at all, have you? Thank you for assembling in front of your various screens for this event and all the other events. Um, so, Dharana. Dharana is great because by working on this focus, it helps your focus in everything. It helps you steady the mind and keep your ability to work through distraction is increased, which is great. I mean, everybody, it's nothing but distraction, right? So the more we can learn to tune that out and to stay on, target with what we need to get done, the better. So um, another thing I love about yoga is that all of these practices, I mean, even though they are designed to spiritually advance you, they also help you in your daily life, right? So you are just going to be a much higher functioning human as you go along this spiritual path. So that is great. All right. So I will be back tomorrow and I hope to see you then. Friday, end of the week. Not that it really makes a difference because all the days seem the same, kind of, to me anyway, but that's okay. I am keeping track, so I know today's Thursday. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.